Hi, Anna. Hi, Anna. I can't hear you. You're still muted.
Mute. Oh,
Oh,
can you hear me now?
yeah. Now, yeah. How are you? Good?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you.
Very good. Do we have many career guidance teachers joining?
Oh, yeah. We have now people on the waiting room. Answering now. She's in.
Super. I'm halfway, um, aren't I? I think there's DHL in front of me anyway. So
Oh,
Celine is just joined as well.
yes.
I'm actually at another event in Cork, so I'm just joining from the hotel room now.
Oh,
How-
okay. No problem. Hi, Celine. Let me ask her to unmute.
Celine is mute. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a very nice
Yeah.
day in
No.
Cork, is it, Anna?
Oh, listen, I'm in Cork and it's miserable here. It's
No.
raining. Are
Yeah,
you in Cork as well?
yeah, I'm based in Cork. Yeah, it's horrible out there. Yeah,
I know it was misty this morning, wasn't too bad, but now it's full
yeah,
on.
yeah, it's chucking it down. Where are you at in Cork?
I'm in Oriole House Hotel at the moment. I was
Oh, Ballincollig. Yeah,
in Career Guidance Institute is holding a careers event in Rochestown Hotel. So I was
yeah.
there this morning, and they have another day tomorrow. So I just left a little bit earlier just so I have
Okay.
peace and quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Good. And were there many people there?
Oh yes, oh my goodness, crazy busy.
Yeah,
Crazy busy. I was driving last evening as well. I was here around after 7 o'clock, and I just feel this week is just crazy. I'm tomorrow here, heading back home to Nice, and then I'm Enfield all day on Thursday and in Sligo on Friday. And I'm
yeah,
at this point, I'm exhausted.
yeah. Bit busy, kind of too busy. That's a bit
It's
manic.
it's
Yeah,
money. It's this
yeah,
time of the year where all the career events are taking place and so on.
yeah. And was it kind of third level, or was it secondary schools?
Secondary schools,
Yeah,
so fifth years and sixth years. So all the kind of s- schools from the surrounding areas in Cork as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's great. It's a great opportunity because we're doing the
yeah,
apprenticeship through MTU Cork. So really, it's
yeah, it's
important that
great.
I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to that one before. There's usually a lot
Yes,
of the pharmaceutical companies have stands there and
yeah. What's really
yeah,
actually this one is it's really interesting. You know, they still kind of promote only the higher education, so all the
yeah,
full-time courses.
yeah,
I'm the only one.
yeah,
And I'm lucky because I always exhibit under the MTU, but I'm the only
yeah,
one from the apprenticeships.
yeah. It's just we're chipping away at it, but it is, I think the way our whole society looks at the leaving cert, it's kind of a tunnel and there only seems to be one road out the other end.
Yes.
So it's going to be a long job just kind of re-educating people and then
Yeah,
to see all the other options that are
but that's what it is.
post-leaving.
It's all about giving them the informations that there are different
Yeah,
options, you know. So it's university is not for everybody full time
yeah,
and so on. So
yeah,
that's what it is. So just to
yeah,
giving them the information and it's their choice.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's the system that we have. Even the newspapers, they publish supplements on they grade schools as to how many students went on to university. And that's nuts. That's kind of the way that they grade things. And it's hardly surprising that schools feel the pressure that they have to
Yeah.
get kids
Yeah,
to third level if that's how they're being judged. And then
exactly.
you only have to look at the dropout rate then. So,
And it doesn't make sense. It put the
yeah,
pressure on students as well,
yeah,
that
it does. Yeah,
there are different options for everybody else
I
where you can
completely agree.
succeed and so on.
How we're doing with the waiting room, Hasna?
We had three before, two left. Hilda is now on,
Great.
and we have one in the waiting room, but still 5 minutes. So
Yeah. Do you have the slide deck, do you?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize you already had that
Oh,
yesterday. So
Hi,
apologies.
Hilda, how are you?
Uh, Hi, Hilda. How are you? You're on mute there. No. Yeah.
I'm okay now. I'm not
Yeah.
used to Zoom at all. Sorry.
and David now as well. He
Yeah,
joined.
they're just dialing in. They're just across from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone all sit in the same room, and then
Yeah.
we had to move that much stuff. I said I'd come back over here.
Yeah. It's. I didn't have David down to introduce. Is he going to speak?
No, he's just going to sit in because he manages our Go Teach program. Yeah,
All right. Would it be helpful if I introduced him or?
doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
mean, between us all, we'll answer questions.
I'll introduce him. So it's David Hoey.
Yeah, he's a
Uh,
graduate with us. Like you'll be talking about graduates with supply chain. So David's on the graduate program with us. So he's supporting me in HR.
right. Yeah, I'll definitely introduce him. Yeah. Thanks, David, for joining the call. Yeah. So we'll just we'll give it a few minutes to round up the audience. Hausner sent out a reminder yesterday and again this morning. So, but we will, for everybody that registered, and we have 126 that registered, we'll ensure that they get the slide deck that you've sent us and also a link to the recording.
Super,
We'll top and tail the recording and send that out to them.
super.
There's a tiny typo in ours. It probably doesn't really matter, but we're not in our fourth year of the apprenticeship. I think we're in our sixth. And it
It's
might
Oh,
be
the seventh,
seventh.
Hilda. The time,
I was trying to add it on my fingers, 2018.
the time flies. It really does.
So that's just a small thing, but it doesn't really know.
if you want to, like, if you wanted to update it, then send us back to it, or we've
It's
got.
just on page 6, Hasna.
Oh, wait, do you want us to change it then for you?
Doesn't
Because
really, before you send it out even,
yeah, would you be able to do that, Hasna, on slide number 6? Just after this session, just change it from the fourth year of the apprenticeship to the
Yeah.
seventh year of the
Yeah,
apprenticeship
yeah, no
before we
problem.
send it out.
Just remind me after the lesson, please.
You always spot something, don't you, when you
I
look at
know.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Always the way. Okay. Still got a few minutes to go yet.
Did you test the video? Yeah.
Did you get a chance to test it there, Hasna? The video?
What's your sound?
No, should I do share my screen?
The video that was embedded in the slide deck. Yeah, do you just want to have a quick go and see if
Let
you
me
start the
check.
slide deck and go to the video.
Just 1 second. Um,
David, maybe you can have the videos back up just in the off chance there's an issue at their end, because it is a nice start.
But yeah, it's quite dynamic video. It's on one of the early slides, isn't it?
Yeah, page 3.
I think it's number 3. Do you want to
okay,
try sharing it there, Hasna?
okay. You want me to share now? One
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Quick
Uh,
pilot test.
I downloaded because you have to do a security code and 1 second. Mm.
have it already downloaded?
Yeah, I downloaded it. Yeah,
Have you got it downloaded?
I
Okay. Do you
downloaded
want,
it yesterday. Yeah.
all right. Do you want
So
to share it then?
yes, 1 second. Oh, share my screen. This one, screen one. Share. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So this is the
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
right?
that's there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oops.
I think we're going to have to assume it's going to work because it's 2 o'clock now. How many have we got in the waiting room, Hasna?
We have now 10 people.
And yeah, we'll let them in because that's kind of our benchmark, and we're on time now. So
But you want me to stay sharing the screen? Which
uh,
slide the video? Just 1 second.
no, if you stop sharing the screen now and let the people in the waiting room in,
Yeah,
and
I will.
then
No.
once I
Oh,
hand over to Hilda, you
okay.
can be reshare again.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's 1 minute past 2, so thank you very much for being prompt. And I'll start the session now just with a general introduction, and hopefully a few more people will join just while I'm introducing the session. Thanks again for joining us. This is the third Industry Insights for Teachers session of this academic year. So I'm Celine McGrath from Business in the Community. And just to remind you, if you're new to these sessions, that we are a non-profit members network. We advise business on sustainability and social inclusion. And to this end, we have a number of education programs. Many of you, particularly if you represent DESH schools, will be aware of our student programs. And we also facilitate this Industry Insights initiative. This is funded by the Department of Education Teacher Development Section, and they do this to facilitate collaboration between education and business. So the aim of these sessions is to inform you as subject teachers and guidance counsellors of the very latest in business. And that includes things like entry routes for your students, apprenticeships, career progression, future skills gaps, so that you've got the most accurate information possible when you are then advising your students and their parents. So before I introduce today's speakers, I just want to go over a few housekeeping rules. The session is being recorded, and I will make this recording available to you along with the slide deck. We will send a link to the recording and the slide deck to you by email tomorrow. And we will have the chat function enabled on this call so that if you've got any questions or comments, please pop them into the chat and we'll be monitoring that. And there'll be plenty of opportunities for questions at the end of the session. We'll put a link to a short evaluation survey into the chat at the end as well, because we really want your feedback. It helps us to shape future sessions. We aim to finish on time at 3 p.m, if not before. So today we are focusing on the logistics sector, which is huge. And it also underpins every other sector of business, not just in Ireland, but globally as well. And we're very fortunate today to have representatives from one of the biggest companies in logistics. That's DHL, which I'm sure you're all familiar with because they are a household name. And we're very lucky to have Hilda Hegarty with us on the call. Hilda is head of HR for DHL's global forwarding business. And we also have Anna Harris, who is the sustainability manager for the DHL supply chain business. We have David Hoey, who is on the graduate program. He's a graduate entrant for DHL. We're also very lucky to have Anna Goreka. Now, Anna is the logistics apprenticeship program manager, at the Freight Transport Association. So she knows all about the logistics apprenticeship, and she'll tell us about that. And we're also going to meet two apprentices who are actually working with DHL at the moment, Ellen and Andrew. So we'll find out a lot more about their experience of the apprenticeship programme. So lots lined up there for us. And Hilda, if we could start with you, please, if you'd like to tell us what exactly logistics is and what DHL does. I know we've got a great slide deck there. So Hasna, if you want to share that with us on screen, that would be brilliant. Thank you. Hilda.
Thanks, Celine, and thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about DHL this afternoon. So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Hilda Hagerty, and I head up HR in DHL Global Forwarding. So in the DHL group globally, we're in 220 countries, we're 600,000 employees, and we have 5 main business units. So here in Ireland, we have 3 business units. So that's Global Forwarding, who I work for, Supply Chain, who my colleague Anna works for, and then we have DHL Express as well, which is probably the one most of you know because it's the parcels and the packages. So DHL, we're a logistics company. We provide a comprehensive range of parcel, express, freight transport, supply chain, generally, I suppose, e-commerce solutions globally. We thought instead of us talking too much, we might start with a little video, which just gives you, I suppose, a snapshot of what happens in logistics. So Hasna, if you want to play the video, and then I'll just talk about DGF in Ireland.
Sorry, which slide? Sorry.
It's on slide 3.
3. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
See the little arrow down the end on the left. There you go. Always technical issues.
I think we're actually looking at the presenter view as well.
You just need your sound too, Hasna.
Yeah. Can you activate the sound there, Hasna?
It might be the 3 little dots more.
Yeah.
You can't hear anything?
No, no.
Try one more time, and I suppose I can just talk then if needs be.
Don't know.
So go to slide 3, and then the left-hand corner, play.
One. You can't hear.
Yeah.
No.
So I suppose everyone, it's a pity we don't have our loud music, but this, oh, it's gone again.
Let's go to
You click on slide hide presenter view there, Hasna, and then it will show us. And click onto slideshow from beginning. Hopefully we'll have that in full screen.
Yeah, should
Okay.
be. Yeah, I don't
Resume
know.
slideshow.
Maybe because I am the admin, I don't know. Do you want to share your
Do
screen?
you want to play the video, and I'm going to play the music at my end? And if you can hear it, just do a thumbs up if it works, and if it doesn't, we can.
I can share my screen if needed. I have the slides here.
Perfect.
Oh, yes, please.
Apologies, everyone.
Okay, sorry about that.
DGF is a division of Deutsche Post DHL Group, along with DHL Express, Supply Chain, Post and Parcel, and e-commerce solutions. We are the freight forwarding experts since 1815, with the network and experience to ship anything, anytime, anywhere. We are experts in air freight, flying everything from smartphones to Formula One cars. We are one of the world's largest ocean freight providers, covering almost every destination. Our customs service ensures goods are cleared for entry quickly and easily, simplifying complex border administration for our customers. And we can combine all our services into a total logistics solution for any business that needs to ship around the world. While improving supply chains for companies across the planet, we make sure we take care of it with an environmentally friendly approach. We're safe, we're reliable, we're fast. But our success didn't happen overnight. It all started in 1815, when Louis Danzas saw opportunities in a world that was changing at an incredible rate. As railways and steamships brought far-flung cities closer together, he pioneered the freight forwarding industry, moving goods further and faster than ever before. We've always been at the forefront of innovation. It has helped us be the best in everything we do. And now, as we become more and more connected online, we are continuing to innovate and deliver excellence in the digital world. We want to make it easier than ever before for customers to book and monitor their shipments, giving them real-time visibility on their vital orders. Here at DGF, we've got a long history of working together with passion, and that's going to take us far into the future.
Thanks, David. Seem to have an echo now. Okay. Can you guys hear the echo, or is it just me?
I think it's stopped now, Hilda.
So that video introduced you to DHL Global Forwarding, which is one of the business units in DHL globally. And as I say, there's two of us on the call today, myself from DGF and Anna from DHL Supply Chain. And then we would also have the DHL Express division as well. So not to labour the point, this slide just gives you some statistics about our base globally. As you can see, we're in more than 120 countries. We have 47,000 employees around the world. And this is just DGF. We obviously have 600,000 in the DHL group, 1.7 million air freight export tons transported every year, 3 million TEUs in ocean freight transported, and more than 50 million road freight shipments are transported every year. So it's an absolutely massive operation. And we really feel, I suppose, that COVID brought us front and center, because before that, people didn't really think about logistics. How do things get from A to B? But there's so much that happens in between, and it's such an exciting industry. And there's so many different pathways that you can come in to work with us. You can come in straight from school, in through the apprenticeship program, the graduate programs. There's so many different entry levels and so many different career paths that you can take as well. And I suppose it's the one job that you can do globally. You can go anywhere in the world with this, and DHL are pretty much in every country as well. So the second slide we have here just talks about DGF in Ireland, if you want to flick on. So we have just under 300 people working for us in DHL Global Forwarding. We very much work with industry. So you can see some of our business partners on the right there, very much specialise in, I suppose, pharmaceutical products and technology as well. So you can see a lot of the big names there. So a lot of these would be time sensitive or high value shipments that our staff are looking after and managing. Sometimes you could have an assembly line on the other side of the world, or you could have a sick patient in hospital, and we need to get our shipments there on time. So, it's a very fast paced, very quick moving, very exciting industry to work in. In Ireland, we specialise in air freight, ocean freight, road freight. And then we have subdivisions like customs brokerage, industrial projects, and we have what we call an RCC, a regional customer centre in Shannon. And that's like a nearshore centre. So if you think of offshoring transactional tasks, in Shannon, we very much support other DHL countries and our customers. So for example, for Apple, we manage all their shipments globally, but it's all run through Shannon. So a lot happening here, a small country, but very much a global presence. And we are based out of the main counties, so Dublin, Cork and Shannon. And then about 22% of our staff work in customer locations as well. And if you just want to flick onto the next slide. So we've been working with Anna in the main through the Logistics Associate Apprenticeship for 7 years now. We have a little typo there. And I have to say, it's a fantastic initiative. Anna's very easy to work with. And we've hired, I think our biggest was 7 apprentices in 1 year, but every year we've had an intake. It's a 2-year apprenticeship program. They do 1 day in college and then 4 days with us. We've had apprentices in Cork, we've had them in Dublin, and we've had some for Shannon who are based in Dublin but supporting the Shannon operation as well. And it's a great true path for us. It's a fantastic recruitment drive. Most of the apprentices that come in through, we hire them when they come out the other end. Sometimes people choose to do something different. That's life. But we're very proud and very happy to have been part of the Logistics Associate Apprenticeship at the very, very beginning. And just a big thank you from me as well to Ellen and Andrew for coming on the call today to talk about their journeys and to take any questions that you might have as well. So that's me. I don't want to do all the talking this afternoon.
Thanks, Hilda. Anna?
Yeah, fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Anna Harris, Sustainability Manager for the DHL supply chain business. My role would span between Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, and delivering on our global DHL sustainability initiative, which is, as Hilda said, it comes across all 3 DHL businesses: Express, DGF, and supply chain. But what I'm going to cover on my first slide, please, David, is just a little bit more about supply chain. So if you click one more time, David, I think it'll bring the bottom screen up. So we have 13 sites across the island of Ireland for supply chain. We have 1 brand new carbon neutral facility where I'm sat at the moment in Dublin. I'm going to talk a little bit more around opportunities in the future, and certainly sustainability is one of them. But across those 13 warehouses, our operation is slightly different, where we deliver things for other customers. I think the stereotypical assumption we get across all of the DHL businesses is it all parcels and is it all packages? Well, for us, you can see on the bottom right there, it's a real mix of customers, from your retail and consumer customers to pharmaceuticals. There's fuels in there too, so we deliver fuels across the island. And then up in Belfast, we have our Spirit contract, which is where we build engines and airplane parts that are shipped all over the world, which is a fantastic, really exciting and fast-paced operation as well. Our sectors that we cover in supply chain, as it says on the bottom left there, is around life sciences and healthcare, manufacturing, logistics. Technology is a big rising area. I'm going to talk about in a moment a little bit more. Retail and consumer, fuels, and then aerospace, which again is very unique for our Belfast operation. Next slide, please, then, David. So entry routes into supply chain is very similar to DGF, but if I could cast your attention to the right-hand side there, we have an apprenticeship program, and it's very much as similar as Hilda described, where 1 day a week college and 4 days in the operation. This is a real mix of roles, so it tends to be more operational based, but there are other opportunities within our function teams. We also have a graduate program, which is once a colleague leaves university level, we accept them into the business in many different roles. I will talk about that again in my next slide. But it's also really important to highlight that there is direct entry routes into DHL. It doesn't necessarily have to be for apprenticeships and graduates. It can be just picking up jobs through various recruitment websites, in general, warehousing roles, function roles, lots of different opportunities across the business. And the other entry routes that I do want to highlight is the really ad hoc ones. And we've worked with schools previously where an example I'll give you is last year, a school in Dublin we were approached by had a group of 4 students who had created an app, and they wondered whether we wanted to be involved in a Dragon's Den style type opportunity, where we host a session with our senior leaders, Dragon's Den style, and they present their app and they walk through what it's about and how they built it, and what the future of the app they want to be is. And it really led the way to open the door for us to talk to our customers, and I believe that app is now being produced. So it's a very different route in, but it's how can we collaborate with our schools through things like the Dragon's Den initiative, Go Teach program, and transition year placements too have been explored previously. So areas of growth, and looking at supply chain, we're a trucks and sheds business. So drivers and warehouse operatives is the go-to area where we're always in need of more staff. The opportunities and things like drivers is because of the age in which students leave school and then come into our business. We have strict ages around how you can drive cars and you can drive vehicles within our business. So they often start off as a driver's mate, where they support the driver in deliveries and various other transport tasks. And then there's a 3-year program in place for them to become a driver out the end of it. And they kind of work through the different ranks as such until they achieve that driver status when they're the right age to do so. So that's definitely an opportunity area. I mentioned our sectors. So the big ones for us in supply chain is around tech and life science. So there are massive growth areas, certainly in Ireland. Dublin is a tech hotbed that we're seeing massive progression for different businesses that are basing themselves out of Dublin. And that's the same for life sciences. So 2 areas of growth that whether you have students at school that might be interested in those areas and not quite sure, entry routes in, it is an area within DHL supply chain that more and more specialist roles working with those types of customers are required. The third, and certainly my favorite and my specialist area would be on sustainability. So globally, most businesses, or 99% of business at the moment at our scale, are really pushing their sustainability agendas on how do we collaborate and how do we develop solutions that keep us at the front of leading the supply chain charge on sustainability. This is a hot topic for things like university degrees and apprenticeship areas. Certainly 3 years ago when we started looking at this ourselves and how can we upskill our teams, degrees around and trainings in particular around sustainability were just starting to come out, but we can see a massive growth in this space, and that really is an area of the business that is growing across so many different areas, whether that's under the social pillar, working with schools and working with volunteering and our communities, or whether that's in environmental solutions. Massive growth area. The other area I want to highlight is around women in leadership. So we internally at DHL have a big focus on our DEIB program. That's basically our diversity and inclusion program. And women in leadership is one of our global targets on achieving a 30% balance. I think it's 2030. So we have a big area in upskilling the women in our business and offering the opportunities into supply chain. Part of the challenge in that is almost the simple question of what is supply chain, and knowing what opportunities there are for women in what is tend to be a more male-dominated industry. So big focus area for us at the moment. Next slide, please, David. So I just wanted to mention my own journey as part of this. So I myself was a graduate in our UK program. So I was based in Coventry for a 3-year program, believe it or not, in IT, and I can't use an iPhone. So that was an interesting choice. But what I wanted to really highlight as part of this is this program I took part in was 7 years ago. And on the left-hand side there, it really highlights the opportunities I've had within DHL, starting from that business technology graduate role to be involved in project management, to where I'm now in sustainability manager role. And I was able to take a period of travel, a break really from the role that I've now come back into, which is a fantastic opportunity too within these businesses like DHL, that really is incorporated into kind of our wellbeing balance as a business. So I wanted to share a few tips and tricks, certainly from my experience coming into a supply chain unit as a graduate and not really knowing what supply chain was about. So the first one is, what is logistics? I think it's really important to have sessions like this to talk about, exposure to an industry that you might not know a little bit about. And I mentioned before that we're forever being told or asked, oh, my parcel didn't arrive at Christmas on time, could you chase it for me? And actually, no, that's not the nature of our business. We're a lot more than that. Hilda mentioned the F1 cars being shipped around the world. There's plenty of other things, and it is really giving yourselves exposure to knowing what's out there that's really important. So sessions like that certainly provide this. One job isn't forever is a really important one too. So as I said, on the left hand side there are some of the different roles I've had within the business, and it's really exciting to not always an upward move, but lots of sideways moves. I've got colleagues who've worked in HR and then moved to finance roles. I think there's an attitude now of one job isn't forever, and certainly communicating that with students who are looking to go into the world of work. There's a lot of pressure on assuming that job is forever, and that flexibility is really important to convey that, one foot in the door with a business like DHL opens a lot of opportunities down the line. We're at a big time of industry change and opportunity. So certainly post-COVID and post Brexit, Ireland has seen a real shift in the type of customers we have. I mentioned tech and life sciences as big hot topics at the moment, and sustainability too. And that's just going to keep adapting and keep growing. So lots of opportunities coming out of the supply chain industry, which is fantastic news. DEI and well-being are on the rise. So I think students and young people nowadays are looking at what that work-life balance looks like. And roles are now shifting to reflect a better work-life balance. An example I will give you is a lot of drivers had a very stereotypical driving pattern, which meant they weren't at home often. We're now seeing a shift in how we need to, as a employer, provide that better well-being and work-life balance initiatives. So we're seeing that across the board. It's not just supply chain, but it's worth highlighting that that shift is happening too, and that makes roles more appealing to the young people. Technology growth and utilization, so IT skills I think are really important nowadays, and if you can pass that message on to students, to things like Excel and PowerPoint, it goes a real long way when employers are looking at their skills and capabilities, is a big one. And there are multiple routes into each industry. So I mentioned apprenticeships, I mentioned graduate programs, but there's also other routes in, and simply just looking for roles out there, whether that's reaching out to ourselves and saying, we've got a Dragon's Den idea we'd like some support on. There's lots of different routes in. It's not as stereotypical as it used to be. So that's a little bit on supply chain and kind of a graduate route in. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Anna. There's far more disciplines than I think most of us would ever realize. And, you can have several different careers within the one business in the one sector. And as you mentioned earlier, it really does take the pressure off when students are constantly being asked to choose something they want to do for the rest of their lives when they're only 17. So it's fantastic to hear that. And just to clarify, I'm sure it's happened with your journey in DHL, but the company do facilitate that. You started in IT, but you're now in sustainability. So is that's something that the company facilitated and helped you kind of upskill while you're doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's down to the size of the business, I think, is really interesting. But Hilda mentioned at the beginning how global we are as a business. I started off in England. I worked all over England in that 3-year training period, and was very, fortunate enough to reach out to colleagues in Ireland and say, look, what are the opportunities there? I've got one in my team at the moment who's looking at a transition to Germany, and to completely move herself, and that's supported by the business as well. So there are a lot of opportunities, and certainly it feels, certainly if you're within the DHL family, there's a lot of training experience and things you can gain that help facilitate that move to the next thing, whatever that may be. Yeah,
brilliant. Thanks, Anna. Anna Goreka, it looks after the logistics apprenticeship program, so she's going to tell us about the detail of that program. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, Celine, and thank you so much for having me. Hasna, would you mind just uploading my presentation, please? So in the meantime, I'm just going to introduce myself again. I'm Anna Gretzka. I'm the project manager for the apprenticeship programs that are currently running through Freight Transport Association Ireland, who I work for. Freight Transport Association Ireland is a membership organization, not for a profit, that represents the interest of the logistics companies here in Ireland. And we work closely with the government agencies like Road Safety Authority, Health and Safety Authority. We are also part of the Logistics and Supply Chain Skills Group. So we're closely working with the Department of Transport, where for the last 3 years, and this year we're going to have our third Logistics and Supply Chain Skills Week running in collaboration with the government, trying to make the public aware and promote career opportunities within the logistics and supply chain sector. And this Skills Week is taking place towards the end of March and beginning of April. So there will be lots of events online and also in person. And also we have a dedicated TY event for the TY students as well, which is going to be held in Cura County Kildare on the 3rd of April. So if anybody wants more information, please feel free to reach out to me. So in terms of the apprenticeships we offer, as Celine mentioned, and Hilda and Anna also, one of the apprenticeships we've been running for the last 7 years is the Logistics Associate Apprenticeship Program. So this year we had our 7th intake. But also 3 years ago, we've launched another apprenticeship, which is the Transport Operation and Commercial Driving Apprenticeship, dedicated to attract more talent and more people into the commercial driving roles as well. So both programs are non-craft apprenticeship programs. And just kind of, I suppose, in terms of the reason why they were established in the first place is very much that it relates to the very two important reports issued on behalf of the government back in 2015 and also back in 2018. They were looking into the labor market of the sector here in Ireland. And those two reports highlighted that there will be an additional demand for the new talent to enter the sector between years 2015 and 2025. An additional around 45,000 jobs will be created here in Ireland within that sectors because of the skills shortage, because of the implication of Brexit as well, and so on. So there will be a lot of opportunities as well for people to start a career in that sector. And also those two reports highlighted the need for the industry to set up and establish an entry route into the sector through the apprenticeship programs, just to allow people who have no background, no experience, or if they're going to be leaving the secondary schools, and they can actually enter the sector through the apprenticeships. I was wondering, Hasna, if you have a problem to find my presentation, do you want me to try to maybe upload it myself?
I just shared now. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. If you could even go straight away to the third slide, that would be great.
Okay, 1 second.
Thank you. My apologies. And just to the third slide, please.
Yeah.
So just some characteristic about the industry, and Hilda and Anna mentioned also that, but really want to highlight the fact that logistics and supply chains are really integral to every industry in the world. And they certainly operate around the clock and facilitate the international and domestic trade or in all sectors of the economy. So it really means that every sector relies on logistics and supply chain and then couldn't trade without it. That's just the simple fact. It is, as Hilda mentioned, it is very much fast-paced and very dynamic industry to be working for. I had the chance to work operationally for 10 years myself and absolutely loved it. And now as a project manager, I'm trying to, I suppose, share my passion for the sector and we try to attract more women into the sector as well. But it's also an industry that offers a high level of job security, and that has been really transparent through the pandemic, and the time of crisis affected the whole world. Logistics and supply chain industry was the essential industry that kept the whole world moving and going. They were supplying all the PPE and medical devices and equipment to the hospital, distributing vaccines as well around the world. And it just highlighted that even during the crisis that affects the whole world, it did not affect the industry itself. It was actually flourishing through that period of time. Also, as I've mentioned, new entrants are in high demand due to the skill shortages. And as I mentioned, there will be new jobs and are still being created in the sector. So lots of opportunities. They do offer very competitive salaries, and that's really a fact. And also, as Hilda mentioned, there's so many career opportunities and career paths, candidates can explore and take, when they're working in the sector. It's not only transport on the road, but you have also transport by air and sea. It's also procurement, it's also customs, it's international trade, just list goes on. So everybody can explore what they like, what they enjoy doing, and they can pursue that path. And also, when you work in the sector, when you have experience, you gain relevant qualification to the industry. The industry do offer progressive careers, so you have an opportunity to progress. And I'm the best also example, having started as an administrator in the distribution office in one of the English companies. I got my qualification relevant to the job I was doing, and that allowed me to, become a team leader. And then later in my career, I was also a distribution manager, and I was also a compliance manager as well. And also, when you're working in the sector and also with the logistics associate apprenticeship, you candidates or you will have an opportunity to travel and work in different places in the world. And even as I mentioned during the logistics associate apprenticeship, and as Hilda mentioned, like DHL Global Forwarding or DHL Supply Chain, those companies have offices around the world. And even during the apprenticeship, some of the apprentices, while they're doing the apprenticeship with their host employers, they have an opportunity during the summertime to actually get work experience and travel and work in the company's offices in Europe and so on. So there is an option for that as well. If you can, next slide, Hasna. Something I'm going to mention, which is great, really to see that like the number of women had nearly doubled, in the last over 10 years. So as I mentioned, really through the apprenticeship, we really want to attract more women. And what's really interesting, I'm working with the industry quite close on the apprenticeship programs. And it was really great to see that there's so many women in the sector, working in the sector, holding a very high profile jobs, being operation managers, directors, and so on. And they are thriving. The reason why is that really one of the attributes women have is that we are great at planning and organizing things. We really excel in those areas. So we really want to attract more women to consider this industry as well. Next slide, Hasna. And as mentioned already, so many career paths, so many paths you can take when you're working in the sector and so on. So those are some occupations examples. And next slide, Hasna, please. So in terms of the logistics associate background, as I've mentioned, this apprenticeship is the first apprenticeship program that was set up for the industry and by the industry as well. So it's entirely led by the industry. So it's one of the new non-craft apprenticeship programs. So the program was validated back in May 2018, and already that year in September in former DIT, currently it's TU Dublin City Campus, we welcome 27 apprentices into the program, and initially back then we had 17 employers who were approved to deliver the training part of this program. Next slide, please. The unique piece about the apprenticeship, this one is that it's led entirely by the industry. So like DHL Supply Chain or DHL Global Forwarding, Hilda Hegarty has been very heavily involved in the development process of this program. And we really appreciate your support throughout the years, that you're still collaborating with us and supporting this apprenticeship as well. It's really very valuable. So that's the interesting piece that it's led by the industry, which means that the program is all the modules, the content of the program, the structure, how it runs, this is all dictated by the industry, not by the education providers who are involved, but by the industry. So it's important that this program kind of delivers really up-to-date content in terms of the modules and subjects and topics it covers. So we had all those professional bodies that are representing the sector and the companies who were involved in the development part of the program, and they're still part of the consortium where we meet on the quarterly basis to review the program and make sure it stays up to date. Next slide, please. So currently, as I mentioned, we had our 7th intake. This year, we welcome 65 logistics apprentices into the program across 2 universities we work with. And currently we have 134 companies, and lots of them are global companies like DHL that they've been involved for the last 7 years, that they offer apprenticeship opportunities for students who are graduating from secondary schools. But as you can see, we couldn't fit in all the companies we work with, but as like DHL, they're well-known companies as well. So, and throughout the last 7 years, we have enrolled 441 apprentices in both programs. So huge interest. We're very lucky with the support of the industry. We have lots of opportunities to get a placement on the LAA apprenticeship. So if there's somebody who really wants to pursue this as the next step after a secondary school, we can help with getting a placement as well.
It's a huge expansion in just 7 years, isn't it?
7 years. Yeah, we're very lucky with the industry support.
41.
We really are, yes.
Brilliant.
So the LAA, it's a 2-year program that leads to the qualification it's a QQI level 6, higher certificate in logistics. We have an intake always once a year, and it's always in September. Apologies, it should be that the next one is September 2025. And the education part of this program is delivered by TU Dublin City Campus and also by MTU Cork Campus. Next slide, please. So this program is very much designed for school graduates, so for the students who are going to be doing the Leaving Cert exams, instead of going to university and doing the full-time degree, they can choose the apprenticeship as an entry route into the sector. It's a great way to start a career. It's a very attractive package. They're getting work experience. They're going to university at the same time. They're being paid a full-time salary during the apprenticeship. There are no tuition fees. They covered as well. So after 2 years, when they finish the apprenticeship, they're getting a relevant qualification to the industry, which are internationally recognized at QQI level 6. Another, I suppose, benefit of the apprenticeship is that when they graduate, if they wish, they're fully employable, so they can stay with the host employer, and majority of the apprentices are being offered a permanent job by the host employers. Some, they actually progress even to level 8 degrees after the level 6. So they can enter the year 3 of the 4-year degree program, which would be the bachelor degree in supply chain management or business management, any business-related discipline. So there is a progression path. It doesn't need to finish after 2 years with your education. They can also get a further degree. But it also open to mature students, career changers, and employers. They can also place their own existing employees on the program for upskilling purpose. Next slide, please. And the way it works, so an apprentice during the time of 2 years is being employed by the logistics company, just like DHL. They offer every year apprenticeship opportunities within their business. And during the program is very much aligned to the university academic year. So during the year, 1 day a week, apprentice will attend the classes full day in college, and 4 days a week they stay with the employer to learn the practical side of things. And in college they learn the theory behind the practice, which they apply in their work environment. There's a broad range of logistics modules being delivered as part of this program, and it is a very rich program, covers pretty much all aspects of logistics. There's a work-based learning taking place, and also another benefit for the apprentices is that they're being assigned with the work-based mentor. It's an expert within the employing organization who supports them through the journey. It's a person to go to for, any queries they have. And they also have an access to this expert and to their knowledge as well, which is really amazing. So there is a support system for them, for the apprentices throughout their journey as well. Next slide, please. Entry requirements, very straightforward for those students who are going to be sitting the Leaving Cert exams. The entry requirements are that they need to achieve pass in English and mathematics at ordinary level. That's the minimum, I suppose. Yeah, so there are no points required to enter the apprenticeship, and they also need to find a work placement, which we can arrange and assist them with. Next slide. So those are just the modules they're going to be covering. As I said, rich program. They have introduction logistics and supply chain management, customer service, communication professional skills, customs and international trade, supply chain performance management, logistics information systems. They cover road freight, air freight, sea freight, transport, distribution and warehousing, quantitative analysis and Excel. There's a work-based project involved. And it's easier for those apprentices to complete assignments because they're getting this practical knowledge and experience, so it's easy for them to finish assignments and come up with topic of the projects and so on. So it all makes sense. Next slide, please. So for those who are interested, the first step would be to go on our website. So we have a dedicated website for the LAA when they can register in the interest to become an apprentice. We'll send them the information pack. We'll send them the list of registered employers. And also when the jobs or when the employers will be advertising apprenticeship opportunities under the LAA, we will notify those candidates which company is currently recruiting and with the contact information and so on. Next slide, please, Hasna. Yeah, so these are other websites we use for advertising the apprenticeship opportunities within the LAA. Yeah, next one, please. And just a snapshot of the jobs that have been posted in the past, and all of them are also in our latest news section. So all informations are on the website. Next slide. Also on the YouTube and on our website, you can some videos from downmeets from Cisco companies we also work with, and you can find some information from the apprentices who undertook the journey under the LAA as well. Yeah, next slide, please. So benefits for apprentices, like I said, really attractive package. You know, they get a qualification relevant to the industry at QQI level 6. It's internationally recognized qualification. They earn as they learn. They access fair level education, and they're also getting a 2-year employment contract, which leads to the permanent position. And they're getting, you know, work experience, workplace skills, and, you know, they're excellent career opportunities in this vibrant sector. Next slide. So just for the students who would be, or for applicants or people who are thinking, you know, what actually, you know, what to consider, you know, is this a career path for them? So certainly for somebody who likes planning, are good at critical thinking and solving problems, if they want to earn a competitive salary, have opportunities to travel internationally, you know, and have a variety of career paths available, you know, they certainly, if it's a yes to all of those, certainly they should consider and maybe do some more research about this industry as well themselves. Next slide, please. There's a video, but we can skip it. It's available on our website, so we can hear from the employers as well. So we can just skip it because I know I have a couple of slides. And one, I'm going to mention just about the transport operation commercial driving apprenticeship. It's our other apprenticeship which is delivered by ATU Sligo. It's also a 2-year program. It's the same like with the LAA 2-year program when the apprentice 1 day a week goes to the university. The classes by ATU Sligo are done online, and 4 days a week they're with the employer. And next slide, Hasna, please. Also, when they finish this apprenticeship, it leads to the QQI level 6 and award. It's a higher certificate in transport operation commercial driving. They also, through the apprenticeship, will get lessons and gain licenses to drive Arctic and rigid heavy vehicles. And the same, we have intake also in September. Next intake is September 2025. And as I mentioned, the education part is done fully online 1 day a week by ATU Sligo. Next slide. So I'm just gonna, all the information about the CDAP are also on their website. As I said, also rich programs. So if anybody consider, you know, pursuing a career to being a commercial driver, certainly this is an entry route. And next slide, Hasna. It's fully funded, so it's all the license fees, the registrations, the funding, everything is funded. So also very attractive package for those candidates who enter this program. Just in terms of entry requirements for this program, they're very the same like for the LAA. You know, a person needs to be 18 years old at the time of entering the program. They need to, the additional requirement is that they need to hold a B license because they will be training to drive heavy goods vehicles in the year 1 and in the year 2. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next slide, Hasna. So what the examples of apprentices driver roles, so what they did do, so during the apprenticeship, they, as I said, they will be taking lessons to drive heavy goods vehicles, but also they will be team up with other professional drivers. So they will be drivers helpers, where they will be loading and unloading vehicles. They will be involved in the route planning. They could be also, you know, being involved in delivering goods and so on, picking stock in the warehouse and so on. Next slide. Yeah, so we have dedicated website also, and we have a information leaflet that can be downloaded from the website for anybody who is interested. That's all. Thank you very much.
That's brilliant, Anna. Thank you so much for going into all the details there and for the websites to explore. We're lucky today, we've got two apprentices here that we're going to meet, Ellen and Andrew. If Andrew, I can see you there. Do you want to go first, just to tell us why you did the program and how you're finding it?
Yeah, hello everyone, my name's Andrew. I'm 21 years of age and I've been an apprentice with DHL a year now, so I'm heading into my second year with DHL and the Logistics Associate Apprenticeship. I work specifically in the Ocean Freight Operations Department, and just a bit more of a background to myself. I finished my leaving cert in 2022, and at that time I was dead set on becoming an electrician. All my friends were in trades, but it ended up not working out for me as I turned out to be colourblind. So that was a real kick in the gut. And I was real lost then, but as time went on, this opportunity was presented to me by a family friend. So I applied for DHL, went through the processes of the interview, and finding out I had to go back to college. Um, I wasn't really the most enjoying of academic studies in secondary school, and I'm sure a lot of young people would agree that they don't really like going to school. They just have to because they do. So come September 2023, and the start of going to college and working on the job, it was really intimidating at the start. Especially coming into an office and you see people who are older, more experienced than you, and you're new to this industry. I've never heard of logistics before I started working with DHL, and then going into college, find out it was like 1 day a week. It's manageable once you start to get into a routine. And I ended up coming a few months into college, start to get really settled into things, and I have known that you're getting paid for 4 days on the job and you're going into 1 day a week into college. It's much more easier to apply yourself to the stuff that you do. And come December, winter, I was really settled in and I managed to find myself becoming really passionate about the job. I started learning more things about myself and what I'm capable and what I'm not capable and where I need to be. And I started taking up more and more an interest in the things I do, and college, of course, are new things that you never knew before. Um, another, and then at the start of 2024, I moved into a new department within my department, so it was more tasks, more responsibilities. And 6 months go by of doing that, I started to really feel like I was making a lot of progress in proper knowledgeable experience about the job and also academic studies, which to me was a surprise because I never thought I'd be picking up books and starting to study for all these exams, which I kind of started to enjoy, which I never thought I'd end up saying. Then another few months go by and I'm delighted with the position I'm in. I've achieved lots of personal goals. I've found out really a lot more about myself and what I want to do and where I want to be in the future. And presently, I got nominated for Apprentice of the Year, which just, I was never really, I never got awarded with any academic stuff or anything like that. I've won medals in sports, but to get nominated for an Apprentice of the Year it was really good to see that and how far I've come.
That's fantastic, Andrew. I love the way you say you're passionate about it, and what a good fit. The sector, the industry, and the apprenticeship seems to be for you, and you just fell into it. You didn't know much about the sector, so what a good fit for you. It's brilliant to hear how well you're getting on. Ellen, are you here with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So my name's Ellen. I'm 23 years old. So I started in DHL. So originally, before I decided to do the apprenticeship program, I was actually attending a PLC course in Colester College, in transport, distribution, and logistics. It was a 1 year course. During this course, 1 day a week. So I was in college 4 days and actually had to do work experience one day, and I was lucky to get my placement in DHL, so I was coming in just one day. Then come the March, COVID hit, so I had to stay at home. I was doing college online, and I couldn't come into the company. So I was just staying at home doing college, and then come the September, I when I was doing the 1 day week, I was uh my manager at the time mentioned that the about the apprenticeship program. I had a bit of interest in it, but I was looking at doing like a 4 year course in college and moving on from that. But because of COVID, I kind of looked at it and I kind of felt kind of leaning towards the apprenticeship program, kind of working more and less college and sort of that, but still getting my education. So in 2020, in the September, I started the logistics apprenticeship program, and straight away I just really enjoyed the work, fit in quite well. Obviously, getting trained up was took a while, but they were very welcoming and stuff like that in the company. So I did the apprenticeship program for 2 years. I worked in the air freight exports department for life science. So it was all temperature controlled goods and moving stuff for pharma companies such as Alexion and AstraZeneca and many other companies as well. There were so many learning opportunities, very different ways of seeing all the way we ship for different companies. Then in 2022, I actually got a silver recognition award from my team, from my manager and my team lead for stepping up and working very hard with one of the customers and getting new business. So I was very happy that like they recognize when you're doing really hard work in the company as well. Um, then I uh, then after the 2 years and after getting that recognition award, I was offered a full-time contract. So I've been here for 4 years now, completed. So I finished 2 years ago in the apprenticeship program. Um, so it was great, like getting that contract showing how much work I did in the 2 years. Then I stepped up for my team and I went on this project called GTOM project and First Choice Champion. So it's doing extra work to find out kind of issues within the company. So it was a great learning opportunity for myself and to educate my team as well on new opportunities we could align in our workplace. And then this year as well, and further on, there's a lot of new opportunities that have come to me. I've applied to go to like a team lead job kind of thing. So I done interviews for that. The way the apprenticeship program actually helped me because we actually did some classes and stuff like that on like new opportunities and how to build to lean towards these. And also, I actually just recently, for starting this September, I'm actually now a mentor for one of the new apprentices starting this year. So it's great that I can show like my experience from when I was in the apprenticeship program for the 2 years. I now can show that on to a new apprentice that is starting this year. So
That's brilliant, Ellen. To like you seem to be actively enjoying your job. It just really comes across when you're talking. And the fact that you're only 23, you're already 2 years work behind you, aside from the apprenticeship, and you're already looking to do team lead roles and you're mentoring. And at only 23, that's quite something. So, with yourself and Andrew are great ambassadors for the sector and for the apprenticeship route. So thank you very much for your testimony. We've got just a couple of minutes for questions. I don't know if anybody has any questions, just pop them in the chat. We've covered an awful lot today. I know you're digesting a lot of the information. I'm just anticipating that Anna Harris, that there might be further information asked for about the TY placements and the Go Teach programme. If you might be able to supply us with maybe a contact for that, and I'll include that in the email that I send out to everyone who registered tomorrow. That would be great to have. So, are we getting any?
Yeah, no problem at all.
You.
I'll reach out to you separately just to confirm that contact, and we can go from there.
Thank you. We're not having any questions yet added into the box. Here we go. So some thank yous. Great presentation from everyone. Thank you so much. sincere thanks to all involved. This is an excellent presentation today. You've all delivered excellent accounts of the sector, and the apprentices have given a great understanding for potential entrance to the sector. So we'll harvest those thank yous for you and pass them on to you when we do an impact report. We're just about out of time now. You've really hugely deepened my understanding of the sector, what huge opportunities, massive opportunities are out there, and the growth opportunities as well. Thank you so much for investing the time today, and hopefully it will spark an interest for those students that will be advised by the audience today. Just to thank you again, Hilda, Anna, Alan, Andrew, and everybody else that was involved in putting this session together. I know there's a lot of work involved from your part, so and thank you all for attending this session today. As I say, we'll send on the further information, including a link to the slide deck tomorrow. So thank you all for attending, and we'll look forward to the next session, which we'll send out invitations for ahead of the midterm break. Okay, thank you everybody, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.